Senator Beigich.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much, Mr. Bernanke, for being here, and thank you for the conversation we had on the phone several weeks ago in regards to transparency. I agree that there's efforts, and I'm excited to see that you're going to be out in the circuit, and I'll be anxious. I might even tune into one of those to see how they go. Senator Johnson brought up a point. I want to make sure there's equal treatment. I'm new here, too. I appreciate, I'm not here to defend the president at all, but we're all to blame for this dysfunctional Washington, D.C. It is not just the president, it's Congress that is also part of the problem here. That's what I hear when I go back home. And because of that, and you kind of answered it, and I think I want to clarify, or I'll let you make sure I hear what you're saying, and that is because of the inability for this body to figure out and compromise and figure out pathways that have long-term certainty, it does have an impact to the consumer confidence and the business confidence of this country. Yes?
Yes.
So, you know, what I've learned in the legislative body, I've been an executive, I've been an assembly member, and now in this legislative body is legislative bodies love to blame the executive loves to blame the legislative body, but at the end of the day, on the Senate side, there's 100 of us out of 308 million people here to make some decisions. So it is incumbent upon us, if we intend to move this country forward, to be more certain about our long-term decisions. True? That's important, because I know as a small business person from the age of 16 that indecision does not create certainty, and this body has a great habit of indecision or push it off. So I just want to make sure we're all equal in this. There's no one body or another. So that's just, I'm kind of going through you two comments on the other side. Second, I heard, and I want to get your comment, make sure I'm clear on this, your response to Senator Grassley in regards to the Bush tax cuts that may expire at the end of the year and what might happen. But also, isn't there another problem to this, that they didn't pay for them? So it had a long-term problem, which is what your opening statement alluded to, that it's good, these short-term things, but the long-term brick wall is coming. So when you have these schemes that have a tax scheme that costs $4 trillion, you don't pay for it today, you're going to pay for it tomorrow, and you're going to pay with interest. Isn't that also a problem to this equation? As you deal with tax policy, you got to pay for it, right?
Yes, Senator. I was not endorsing any
No, I agree.
Right. I was just saying the cumulative effect of all these different things, expiration of the payroll tax, the sequestration,
right,
expiration of the Bush tax cuts, and other things, collectively would be a fairly sharp change in the near-term fiscal position.
Correct.
I'm not saying don't pay for it. I'm just saying do it over a longer period of time.
Right.
And do it, but do it seriously. I agree with Senator Sessions' concern that it's just push it off mañana. You don't want to do that. You want to make a credible, strong plan, but one that phases in over a period so that the economy will not hit a huge pothole.
Right, and that's right. I just want to make sure that's kind of in this discussion, because I was one of those that supported the $4 trillion. I think we need to be aggressive about this, but we also have to balance against what we're trying to do today, because if you get an imbalance, you're going to have a direct impact. And there are good signs. I mean, I read your latest piece. I don't know if it was written by you or your interview by Bloomberg in regards to how the economy is moving. It's going to be a slow drag on this economy for some time, but it's actually moving in certain areas. Manufacturing, as you indicated, I think has surprised a lot of people, and that's a good sign. Mm-hmm. Consumer confidence, to me, is a pretty important piece of the equation here, because if they're not confident, they're not I mean, it's amazing how many are still not refinancing today at 3.75% interest rates. It just boggles the mind. Why? Because I think they're just not confident yet. And part of our job is to help make them know that we have a plan, at least, or something to help the confidence level. Do you think consumer confidence is an important part to this long-term equation? Consumer and, I should say, business confidence, the combination of how they feel.
Surely, consumers, make their spending plans and their employment plans, retirement plans, everything based on what they see in the future, right, how they expect the economy to evolve and their own opportunities. If you look at the consumer confidence surveys, people are saying they don't expect to see their real incomes grow. They expect that their financial conditions are going to be flat to down. in the next few years. And that's not a situation that encourages people to buy a house or
Refinance
to start a business or anything
Right.
like that.
Let me ask you one last question, because my time is up on, obviously I come from an energy state, oil and gas, and you had alluded to a couple issues that, the activities in the Middle East could have impact to our price of fuel energy here. Can you maybe just elaborate a little bit? Obviously, I'm a big believer that we need to do more domestic production so we have less of those shock treatments from other sources that are out of our control. Can you give me just any additional comment on that?
Well, first, that as we saw in a modest way early last year, a significant increase in oil prices can be very disruptive, both because it creates inflation and also because it acts like a tax on consumers, makes them less able to spend on other goods and services. A major disruption that sent oil prices up very substantially could stop the recovery. That being said, I think one of the more encouraging things of the last few years is the fact that with new processes and approaches that the U.S. is becoming a much more prolific producer of fossil fuels and is also making progress on non-fossil forms of energy. So for the first time in some time, I think there's a chance that we can move in the right direction in terms of reducing our exposure to foreign supply disruptions.
Thank you very much. And Alaska wants to be part of that equation, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Beigich. Senator Renzi.